So the Brooklyn Nets are currently playing very, very well. They are 26 and 13, second in the Eastern Conference, and they're looking really good. And in the last 14 games without Kevin Durant, they're 13 and 1, and their only loss was against the Dallas Mavericks when they are missing Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. And they've won some really good games there against teams like the Clippers and the Lakers, most notably. And then they've also had some scrappy wins against teams like the Spurs and the Knicks, and they've also beaten the Celtics. So it's not playing Detroit and teams are easy wins. These are tough wins against very good teams, and they're playing very well without their best player. So if we talk about offensively, it's a lot of Harden and Kyrie isolations, Harden bringing the ball up, passing it to Kyrie on the wing, letting him create something. Kyrie is so crafty. He has that mid-range fadeaway thing. I feel like it goes in every time. It's a lot of that, but they're also willing to screen for each other and willing to screen for other players. There's been a lot of Harden pick and roll. He has a very nice relationship with DeAndre Jordan with throwing lobs and that sort of thing. Harden is just an elite playmaker. He's averaging 11 assists on the Nets, and he's good for every one of them, and that's really helpful. He's been the point guard, the main ball handler, and then Kyrie is allowed to play off ball, where I feel like he's at his best when he can drift in and out of games and just go on for 3 minutes and score 7 points, and then sort of just be a threat off ball, coming off screens and providing spacing. And then the ball movement, they're not like a super passing team, but it's still pretty good. All the guys are playing pretty unselfishly, especially Harden. He's adapted his play style to fit with the two other stars, though him and Durant haven't played much together. But he's clearly willing to share the ball more, and he's not concerned about his own stats, and that's really great to see. He's getting guys like Joe Harris open looks. Joe Harris, one of the best shooters in the NBA, and I swear he gets like 5 wide open threes a game just off of Harden, Kyrie, and he knocks down like 50% of them. So they're really good offensively, and they haven't had Kevin Durant for the last few games, so it's going to be scary when KD returns, especially with KD's ability to play both on and off the ball. And then if you need a basket with the shot clock expiring, you can give it to Kevin Durant, you can give it to Kyrie Irving, you can give it to James Harden. They can all create their own shot, and just the creation for others. Bruce Brown has, he's cutting, he's spacing to the 3-point line, he's setting screens, and he's getting a decent amount of points off it, and he's playing really well. He's been a key piece for them, and it looks like he could be a key piece for them moving forwards with his defense, and then just getting points off of the 3 stars, mainly Harden during this stretch. Jeff Green is also playing very, very well. He's shooting like 40% from 3, and it's because all of them are wide open, because the defense, you're not sprinting out to close out to Jeff Green like you would Joe Harris, but he's also getting open shots off of Harden, getting inside, getting into the paint, and then kicking out, and then the Nets being willing to move the ball around the perimeter, and it's looking very good offensively. And then defensively, they're still 25th in defensive rating, but they've been better recently. And a lot of that is them embracing switching like the Rockets did with James Harden. Obviously, Mike D'Antoni's on the coaching staff. I'm sure he has something to do with that. They're willing to switch most things and just trying to give as much effort as they can most of the time. Sometimes it can be a bit lazy through the first 3 quarters, but when it comes down to the fourth, they're able to play decent defense, that it's not just an easy bucket for the other team. Harden's post defense has actually been a part of that. He was guarding Julius Randle a bit, and it wasn't always great, but he can certainly hold his own in the post. And then just with the perimeter guys switching, trying to not let the opposition get into the paint where they can get easy baskets, because sometimes the Nets aren't really playing with a center. It's been better defensively. They still have room to improve. They still can improve, and they still have half the season to improve. But it's trending upwards. Still not great, but pretty good. And then Nick Claxton has given them something at center. He's springy. He can catch lobs from Harden. He can set screens. He's athletic defensively. He can block shots, that sort of thing. So he's really been helping them out. Everyone's been contributing during this run, and there just seems like a good vibe around the team. Steve Nash has done pretty well as a coach, I would say. It's not like super X's and O stuff, but most of the time it's just trying to keep the team in line, managing the big personalities on this team, and it's working for him. And a lot of the great coaches like Phil Jackson, obviously he's great at the X's and O stuff, but more of his stuff is just trying to keep the team together, working on team chemistry and things like that. And I feel like Steve Nash, similar to Steve Kerr, is good at that stuff as a former player and someone who's been around big personalities. He's done pretty good so far, so he deserves credit for that as a first-year head coach. And it's just all pretty good around the Nets. So if we talk about some potential playoff series matchups, I think they're going to be the 1, 2, or 3 seed. I think they'll be pretty good throughout the first round. They'll be playing like a team like the Hornets or the Hawks or the Knicks or the Raptors, some team like that. And I think just on talent alone, they would be able to get through that first round series. But then I'd say the 3 biggest threats to them would be definitely the Sixers and the Bucks, and then maybe the Heat or the Celtics. I feel like they can definitely beat the Heat or Celtics, though, against the Heat. The switching is definitely something big against the Heat because they run a lot of off-ball stuff with Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson. They'd be able to contain that. I feel like Kevin Durant would match up pretty well against Jimmy Butler. And then maybe they'd have a bit of a weakness at center with Bam Adebayo attacking whoever they play, whether it's DeAndre Jordan or Jeff Green. Blake Griffin still hasn't played for them, so I'll be excited to see when he plays what he can do for them. But against like the Heat and against the Celtics, I feel like again the Celtics don't have a big interior presence, which could be the Nets' weakness. Maybe Kemba Walker could explode in a series like that because the Nets don't really have a great point guard defender, though Bruce Brown is pretty good. I feel like he would play a key role in a series against the Celtics. So I feel like they could beat the Celtics and the Heat. And then if we talk about against the Bucks, that could be a bit rough just because I don't really think they have a Giannis defender like that. I feel like he could be getting to the rim quite a bit. I don't think someone like DeAndre Jordan is quick enough to stay with Giannis. Maybe Nick Claxton has the athleticism to do it, but he's inexperienced, and I don't know if you want to be relying on him for 30 minutes a game. And then Jeff Green, I feel like he's not quick enough or not big enough. If we talk about putting maybe KD on Giannis, maybe it could work. I think he could stay with him on the perimeter, but it'd be if Giannis is willing to go inside and post up and be a screener in the pick and roll. That could be a bit of a weakness for the Nets. But even if Giannis goes off, if they're able to contain the shooters and the Bucks' perimeter action, and then they're also able to score at will, whether it be Harden or Kyrie or Kevin Durant, whoever's cooking on that night, as well as generate open threes for guys like Joe Harris and Bruce Brown and Jeff Green, then I feel like they could just have enough to get by them. And then against the Sixers, they're not stopping Embiid. I could see the Nets making one more move, whether there was a report that they're interested in JaVale McGee or whether it's someone like that, like a center, but no one is really stopping Embiid. But if you just say Embiid is getting 35 a night, and it could be more, if the Nets are able to contain Simmons, contain Tobias Harris, not let the Sixers bench be effective, especially from 3, then I feel like yet again offensively they just have the most firepower with those 3 stars, and it's going to be hard to beat them. So I would probably say that they are my favorite to come out of the East, though a lot can change in terms of health and Whether a team makes a trade between now and the trade deadline, it'll be interesting to see what happens, or if they get like a buyout guy or something. But the Nets are looking really good. They're looking really scary. Harden, Kyrie, it's just been great even without Durant. So they're going to be definitely a team that's going to be hard to knock out of a playoff series. But that's the end of this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to this channel for more NBA content. Leave a like on this video, and I'll see you guys next time.